I'm Nia-Malika Henderson, and we've got Bill Huizenga, 5 questions with Mr. Huizenga. Congressman Huizenga.
Bill's good, though.
Bill is good.
I prefer
okay,
that.
I'll call you Bill.
All right.
So tell me, last night, big night of speeches. What stood out for you last night?
Yeah, well, I think a couple of things. Having Governor Fortunio and having Governor Martinez there really was a strong statement. Condoleezza Rice hit it out of the park. I mean, she was phenomenal. No teleprompters, clearly speaking from her heart and really talking about her own personal life. As well as big, broad, foreign policy issues and that kind of thing. So I thought she was phenomenal. Mike Huckabee did a great job, and then of course Paul Ryan really having his rollout. I thought he did a great job, and in my time in Washington, and short time there, the 19 months I've been there, I have not met anyone in Washington who's more disciplined and more focused than Paul Ryan. And I've had a chance, I do the workworkout, the P90X thing with him in the morning.
Yeah, no, I can.
Doesn't it look like my 6% body fat too?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, he is hardcore, and he is very focused on all aspects of his personal life. And obviously, his father died young, and I think he had an uncle die young, and so he takes care of himself, spiritually, mentally, physically, all those things, and he's very impressive because he leads by example.
And he's one of yours. I mean, a congressman, and that hasn't happened on a national ticket, I think, since Bill Miller with Barry Goldwater.
Yeah, something like
for
that.
Republicans at least.
And I think it's also but I think it's the generational element as well. He made some fun about the music part of it. But in many ways, I think that's true. You're seeing a kind of a group that came in, a group of freshmen that came in, sort of 35 to 45, and I'm 43, and I think there's just a different set of expectations and a different way of maybe even presenting ourselves to constituents. And it's not just social media, but that kind of is maybe a symptom of what the real change is.
Yeah, and the way we're going to communicate and talk about politics. Let's go a little bit big picture. Michigan, not a state that's gone Republican for a while.
1988.
Romney, of course, is from Michigan.
Yes.
What are his chances there in terms of winning?
Very good.
What does he have to do?
Yeah, he's got to keep doing what he's doing. We can feel it on the ground, frankly. Michigan has been kind of a purple state, not red, not blue. It's been both, black and blue, maybe. It's been a really tough state with in the last various cycles, and it's gone back and forth. I was a little surprised in the primary how deep the Romney connection is yet for people back in Michigan. I did a kind of a late afternoon seniors kind of telephone town hall with Ann Romney during the primary, and the number of people in my district that were talking so glowingly about George Romney, Mitt's dad. And the fond memories that they had. In fact, when I started going to state conventions, I was 18. It was 1988 was my first one, and George Romney was there, and he went to all of them right up till he passed away.
Yeah.
And he would get standing ovations and just really a phenomenal response. So his family's still very involved in Michigan. A brother who had been a Michigan State University regent, and a number of those things. So there's a lot of deep roots and a lot of deep connection there.
What does he have to do in terms of the auto bailout? How does he frame his position on that?
Yeah, and it's interesting. This has been a theme that I've talked about a lot. It's much, much more nuanced than I think a lot of people who aren't from Michigan understand. First of all, Michigan went for Barack Obama by like 12 points 4 years ago. And the fact that it's a statistical tie, if not Romney actually in the lead, according to the last 2 polls, is pretty amazing. Especially in light of obviously what the Obama administration is trying to put out there is, we saved Michigan, right? With the autos. The real difference is if you talk to the suppliers, and I have a tremendous number of the Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 automotive suppliers, and those Tier 2 and Tier 3 supply the suppliers that bring the original equipment into the manufacturers and those kinds of things. It wasn't as rosy for them. In fact, they had been getting squeezed by the Detroit 3 year after year after year on price and on quality control and all these other things, and they felt that they didn't do it themselves. Especially GM and some of the others, and that's a frustration to them. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of do as I say, not as I do.
So if Mitt Romney can tap into that frustration.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think it is there, and it's much more nuanced. And the other element is the bankruptcy of GM turned into a long, stretched out thing rather than the compact, shortened bankruptcy proceedings that could have happened. And so I think there's a lot of people that are very, very open to the Mitt's message about the economy, because Michigan has lived it, not just for a couple of years, but for a decade.
Yeah.
And they know that we've got to turn this around.
Does he have to take a side on Michigan versus Michigan State?
That's always a nuanced thing
what are you? Are you Michigan guy or Michigan State?
So gets complicated for me too.
Oh boy.
Grew up a Michigan fan.
Okay.
But Kirk Cousins, who's the new quarterback, one of the new quarterbacks for the Redskins, right behind RG3. It's Kirk Cousins. Went to my high school.
Okay.
He played at Michigan State University. I'm a huge Tom Izzo fan, who is the coach of MSU's basketball team.
Right.
Quality guy. And
yeah.
Mark D'Antonio is also as coach of the football team at MSU. So still kind of in my heart, I'm a Michigan fan, football fan especially. But both great schools. That's why I went to Kelvin College.
So you
neutral territory.
Who's your favorite? I mean, you follow the Fab Five, I'm sure. Who's your favorite?
Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose.
Yeah.
He's doing the commentary now.
Yes,
He's doing well.
I think he's kind of kept Chris Webber was great, but to me, Jalen sort of had his act together a little more. I think.
Yeah. But none of them did much in the. I mean, they didn't do much in the NBA. I went to Duke, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there we go.
Yeah. I went to real awesome basketball school. So, and not much of a football school.
Yeah.
So, any predictions with football this season?
Professional or college?
College.
Michigan
or Michigan State?
Well, Michigan's going to have a great year, and there had been some thinking that MSU was going to have a recovery year, and I got to be careful because I've got a number of MSU grads that work for me in my office, and one of them's looking at me right now, going, "Hey, buddy, you better say the right thing."
Be careful here.
Yeah, but I think they're going to recover very nicely. Kirk Cousins had been a starting quarterback for 4 years, and was a real leader. And what sounds like they're going to be able to transition right into it, but I think Michigan especially is going to have a good year.
And professionally, the Detroit, they seem to be turning.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson, man, he's it, and Drew Stanton. So I think
they had a bleak time for a little while, but they've turned it around.
The Cubs have nothing on Detroit Lions fans when it comes to those frustrations that we've had.
Barry Sanders, getting out of retirement, right?
Yeah, that would be nice. So we're optimistic about Michigan overall. Whether it's sports, whether it's the economy, and certainly with this election coming up, we think we're going to have a good year.
Fantastic. Thanks for talking to me, Bill.
Thanks.